Okay, we're now in the last section for learning A and B. I'm sure you are, really dying to get this part done so you can really start the fun part of getting those sketches that you have, the designs that you've got, the storyboards into action and make it in the next section in learning AMC. Now, this section is a relatively small section, is one paragraph at least, and you're talking about your testing strategy. So you don't actually have to do any testing yet because obviously you haven't made anything to test. You just need to talk about testing in itself, what it is, why it's important, and how you plan to do it. Now, page 54 and 55 has everything you need in the book. Have a look through that, go through the activities there, understand it before you proceed in this section. So let's talk about it. First thing you need to do is talk about testing. What is testing? Why is it important? You need to give me a full sentence or two here explaining what testing is, how it's done, why it's done, and you can even give some examples that is so important because even in the industry, professionals do it all the time, especially when it comes to software, because you want to avoid software bugs. You want to avoid issues. You don't want customers to come back and complain later. You don't want your customer to come back and say, you've given us a faulty item, we paid thousands of pounds and this isn't working, or you get to this point and it freezes. So you want to say that you want to do this because you want to have the perfect product at the end. You want to make sure there are no bugs, that there are no issues, and that everything works smoothly and there's nothing missing, and that things do work as you intended, that you've hit the target audience, you've hit those requirements that you've identified early on, and that all the needs are being met. Then you need to say how you're going to test it. How often you're going to test it. How many testers are you going to use? Are you going to have one person, two people, three people? What will you be looking for and why? And what you will do if issues do arise. If you do come across some issues, when you do see problems, what's your point? And I'd like to think a lot of that's common sense. It's obvious because when you see a problem, then you're going to fix it. And the whole point of doing testing is to find problems before you hand it to your customer. The whole point of testing is to find problems, not to not find problems, because the more problems you find, the quicker you can solve them. As soon as you've solved them, and if you test it again you can't find any problems, then fantastic. But you want to find as many problems as you can before you hand it over, and you want to do it through the project itself, the process, as you progress through with the project itself. So as I said, there's not really much else to talk about here. But I will say, like I said, everything you need is in page 54 and 55. Answer these questions. You're looking for at least one paragraph, maybe even two. Full sentences, explain using Peel, point, evidence, explain.